recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and I am here today with Carmela Smith. Hello, Carmela.
Hello, everyone.
It is good to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Great to be here.
We have some awesome guests today. Pete Olexa is with us today. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Jonathan. Thanks for having me back.
I'm always glad to see you, man. Always glad to see you.
Likewise.
Mark Burton is with us today. Hey, Mark.
Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Welcome to the show, my friend. You mentioned to me earlier, you said you were listening back when it was just me and Chris.
It's been a long time. I've loved listening to the program. It's one of the first podcasts I signed up for.
My goodness, that is a long time. Thank you so much. And last but not least, recent Pyramid winner, Maddie Kimberlin is with us. Hey, Maddie.
It is good to be here, Jonathan. It's been too long, my friend. You are truly half the man you used to be.
I'm trying to think of something. Fade to Gray. I can't remember the first line. I'm trying to think of the song lyrics. No. Anyway, I want to get to know everybody a little bit better. Pete, we're going to start with you. Tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Well, I am Pete Olexa. I am from the lovely burg of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I am a courier, which is, way more exciting than it sounds, people. In fact, if I ever make Jeopardy, the one reason that I want to make Jeopardy is because I want to hear Johnny Gilbert say, a courier from Grand Rapids, Michigan, instead of like a lawyer or a doctor or something.
Right,
like
absolutely.
I think that's my one shining goal in life is to make Jeopardy, to hear Johnny Gilbert say that. But something interesting about myself, my goodness. Well, I usually go with, I have lots of kids. My life is always interesting.
Trickle of the kids.
Yeah. We just actually had here in the last week an adoption finalized for 2 kids. So I just have 2 new kids this week.
Congratulations.
It's not often that somebody can say that. That's pretty impressive.
I know, right? That is a little bit interesting. Honestly, COVID kind of wreaked havoc on that whole process. It should have been done about 18 months ago. But, here we are. It's finally finalized. And so that was a great blessing for our family.
Congratulations, my friend.
We have enough now. We have 9 now, or 9 total with the parents for a ball team. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a huge baseball fan. So now we can finally sport our own team, and I'm excited about that.
I think it's definitely time to get family team game shirts, right? Some family jerseys.
Right. I thought, maybe because, we're big Cubs fans, I could buy all the Cubs jerseys. But after today, that might be a problem because I don't know who all the Cubs starters are anymore.
All right. Well, Pete, it's great to have you, my friend. Glad you're here.
Thanks.
Mark, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
So I'm Mark Burton. I'm from Bel Air, Maryland. That's about a half an hour north of Baltimore. I am a biologist in a government contractor. We can leave it at that.
Okay, that sounds interesting. And something fun about yourself.
Well, I'm actually a black belt in 3 separate martial arts.
Really? What are those martial arts?
Combat jiu-jitsu, Buddhishin jiu-jitsu, and China karate.
Wow.
I've been studying since 18 years old.
So you
And
are
I'm
a legitimate
into my
badass.
50s. Well, I know enough to get myself hurt really badly.
I bought a black belt once. It fit nicely. Yeah, that's close as I got.
Yes.
Well, it's awesome to have you, Mark.
Was it reversible to a brown belt?
It was
though?
reversible. Yes, I could
They are the
decrease
best
my
kind,
status
that
at
is
any
for
point. All right, and Maddie, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
I am Maddie Kimberlin, recent of Dallas, Texas, at least for the moment. Longtime listeners of the Oaks Media Group properties will know that I am a bit of a vagabond, so next time that may be a different city and state. I'm a personal shopper, and something fun about me, I moved to a new neighborhood shortly before 4th grade, and on a complete whim in answering a getting to know you questionnaire, I spent the next 3 years of my life being known as Tiger.
Wow, go get him, Tiger. We might have a new nickname for you now. As a matter of fact, we're going to see if I can make that stick. Well, so what happened? How did you end up with the nickname Tiger?
So the weekend before school started, I was out in the neighborhood just playing with a kid in the neighborhood, and we were playing some sort of made-up spy type game, and we picked out code names for ourselves.
Of course.
And so he was Cobra, and I was Tiger. And Monday I went to school, or I guess Tuesday, because it would have been the day after Labor Day back in the day. And I went to school, and there was this questionnaire that Mrs. Odell had us fill out, and it said, "My name is blank. Please call me blank," and I put my name is Matthew Kimberlin. Please call me Tiger. And for the rest of elementary school, I was Tiger. The die was cast.
Oh my God. Oh, that's crazy. All right. Well, it is awesome to have all of you here, and I think it's time to get started with Warm It Up, Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Warm It Up, Chris is going to be brought to you by me, Jonathan. But I got to tell you, it's really brought to you by Brian Harris this week. Thank you to Brian Harris.
Thanks, Brian.
For this Warm It Up, Chris question. The question is this: is it really a mega hit if it never reached number one?
Oh, dear.
So, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to give you the name of a song. You must decide if the song hit number one on the U.S. Billboard Top 100 or did not. This list is comprised of songs from the 1980s that are considered hits from the era. Some of them failed to reach number one on the Billboard Hot 100. Of the ones that did hit number one, all of them stayed at number one for at least 2 weeks. So there are no single week number ones on here. Either they were 2 weeks or more, or they didn't make it. Everybody ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay. We're going to start with Carmela.
Okay.
Carmela, can you tell me if Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up was a mega hit?
Whenever someone tries to rickle me, I was like, joke's on you because I love this song.
Love the song.
Did me a favor. It wouldn't surprise me if it didn't make number one, but in my heart, I want it to be a number one. So I'm going to say that it was.
It spent 2 weeks at number one.
Yay.
Well done. All right, Pete, you get Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas.
So I am not like a huge Kansas REO Speedwagon type fan, bands of their ilk. So for that reason, I'm going to say no, that did not reach number one, just because I hope it didn't.
It did
taking
not.
a hard line against Kansas.
It did not. He doesn't have a problem with Nebraska, but Kansas, those guys.
I love the Cornhuskers, man. They're Big Ten all the way.
So, Pete, you're right. It peaked at number 11. Never made number one. Never even made the top 10.
Never even made the top 10.
Yes.
That's double ones.
Yeah, no, Kansas.
Double one.
Kansas, you got to do better. Okay, Mark, you get We Built This City by Starship.
Starship. And, unfortunately, the music is one of my worst subjects. I believe it did hit number one.
It sure did. Number one for 2 weeks. Yes. Now, Brian didn't give me the year, but he did give me the number of weeks. So thank you, Brian, for that. I think it was in the mid-'80s. Maybe 84 is coming to mind, but I don't know for sure. 2 weeks. All right, Maddie, you get Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2 by Pink Floyd.
That would have been 1980. Yeah, I think that was a number one.
It was a number one for 4 weeks, which honestly is incredible.
That surprised me.
Agreed. All right, Carmela, back to you.
Okay.
Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears.
Oh.
Love me some Tears for Fears.
True. Songs for the Big Chair. Great album.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that this did not make number one.
You're good at this. Peaked at number 3. That's impressive. Well done. All right, Pete. Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. They want to have fun. Girls.
Goodness.
They want to have fun. They just want to.
Cover song.
They just want to.
I feel like this is like a trap here. But, I mean, this is an iconic song. This is a mega hit. This really defined a generation in the mid-'80s. You know, Captain Lou Albano in the video and WrestleMania 1 and all of that. This has got to be a number one hit, people. And if it's not, shame on you, Billboard magazine. So I'm going to go with this is a number one hit.
It's a trap. It peaked at number 2. It was, in fact, never a mega hit. Not even close.
Number 2 is not close.
Not close to a mega hit. Mega hit needs to have power. Multiple week status. Mark. In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
This is after he left Genesis. I've heard the song. I know the drum solo. That's about it. So I'm going to go with no, it did not make number one because, no, I don't like Phil Collins now. No.
It might be his most popular song today, but it peaked at number 18. No, I'm sorry, at number 19. It did not reach the top 10. You all are doing really well at this.
I'm lucky.
Maddie.
Yes.
How about Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen?
Bruce Springsteen, I'm trying to remember because I think he's only had one number one. And I'm trying to remember if it was Born in the USA or if it was like Dancing in the Dark. I am going to say that did not go to number one.
You are correct, sir. It peaked at number 9. If I had said Dancing in the Dark, it would not have been right. If I had said Glory Days, it would not have been right. If I would have said Born to Run, it would not have been right because Bruce Springsteen has never had a number one hit as a performer. Ever.
That's true.
He did have a songwriting number one, Blinded by the Light, Manfred Mann and the Earth Band.
Yeah. Dancing in the Dark, it's funny because that's probably was his biggest hit. I don't know if that's one that charted the highest, but it's a song about him not being able to write a hit. That's the entire premise of that song.
Outstanding.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I was listening to the current episode of Hit Parade right now is on Bruce Springsteen about this topic. So it's pretty good. All right, Carmela. I should have saved that for you, Carmela. My apologies. But you know what? You're gonna get We Will Rock You by Queen.
Probably one of their more radio friendly lengths for songs. I don't think this hit number one though.
Peaking at number 7. You are correct. Not a mega hit. You all are just destroying this. Okay. Pete, you get Papa Don't Preach by Madonna.
I'm in trouble deep on this one, guys.
Well played. Well played.
I am going to say, did I remember this video when I was a kid, too? It was big. But This is about 1987, 1988 off the True Blue album. So I think she had already been past her peak, and then so I'm going to say no. This was not a number one hit.
It spent 2 weeks at number one. It was, in fact, a number one hit.
That sucks.
All right, Mark.
I mean, it's good for her.
Yeah, they're good.
Mark, you get Endless Love by Diana Ross and Lionel Richie.
Endless Love. Well, that's one of my wife's favorite songs. I don't think that would have made number one. Duet? No, I don't believe it made the number one.
It is actually the song on this list that spent the most time at number one. A true mega hit, 9 weeks at number one.
So I'm living up to the fact that music is my worst subject. That's good.
Maddie, you get Don't Stop Believin' by Journey.
Before I answer this question, I want to point out I am playing this Warm It Up Chris round under protest over the narrowness of your definition of a mega hit. I just want that to be known to the TWA. So Don't Stop Believin', which is the best-selling analog song of the digital era. It sold more digital copies than any pre-digital song, and it's amazing how much more popular today it is than back in the day, but I don't think it even got close to number one.
You're right. It peaked at number 9. Number 9. Well done. All right, one more time around. Carmela, You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC.
Oh, is this the first one I'm going to miss? It might be. Let's go for it. I think it's been at least a couple weeks at number one.
It spent no weeks at number one. It peaked at number 35.
Wow.
Yeah, not close.
AC/DC is another number one list band.
They are, but they had the number one album for a while, or the best-selling album, rather.
Was that Back in Black?
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Pete, your last go at this. You're going to get Little Red Corvette by Prince.
Okay. Oh, man. I mean, it's a good song, but I don't think that when I think of Prince songs, it's not one of my top ones that I would think. But, man, he was so popular back in the mid-'80s. Let's go with yes, just because. God bless you, Prince.
Oh, God bless you, Prince, for peaking at number 6 with Little Red Corvette.
Oh,
Yeah, I've done a question. I think he's had 5 number ones, and that was not one of them.
The wheels have come off. Hi, Mark. We Are the World by USA for Africa. We are the children.
We are the world. That's, gosh, you're talking about time when I was in high school, so I couldn't listen to Parents Controlled the Radio, unfortunately. So
this isn't an excuse.
No, this is. I mean, I was like 8, and I was familiar with the song.
I've heard the
Couldn't
song.
go
that's for
anywhere
sure.
and not hear this song.
Right?
It should have been number one. It was a great cause, but I don't think it made number one because. No, I don't think it made number one. There were enough people in it, but it probably just didn't have any pizzazz to it.
Well, 4 weeks at number 1 says it had enough pizzazz. 4 weeks.
Oh, boy.
And, Maddie, we're going to end it with you. Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean.
Okay.
Now
So
we're
this is, I don't know if I've
sharing
ever,
the same dreams.
okay, so I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on an episode of the show. One of my favorite trivial facts in the entire world is that Billy Ocean made some sort of deal with the devil where he released 3 different songs that had 8 words exactly in the title, and every single one of those went to number 1. But he had one song that had 9 words in the title, and it stalled out at either number 2 or number 3. So Caribbean Queen, No More Love on the Run has 8 words in it, just like There'll Be Sad Songs to Make You Cry and Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car. And so that is a number 1 hit.
With impeccable logic that came from way downtown, Maddie Kimberlin is correct. 2 weeks at number 1 for Caribbean Queen. I didn't even know it had a back end to that title there.
Maddie, I am so glad you're on my team.
That is your Warm It Up, Chris, for the episode. Thanks to Brian Harris for putting that together. That's not the end of that Warm It Up, Chris concept, by the way. He sent me a list of 20 plus more songs that I could have used. So big ups to Brian. So guys, Before we go further, I want to let you know that we have calendars to sell. The Everyday Q&A Trivia Calendar is on sale right now. They will ship in December. You will have them before Christmas. But now is the time to get in. We've already sold a quarter of the run. 25% of the calendars that are being printed this year have already been sold. It isn't even the end of July. You do not want to wait. Go to triviacalendar.net. Pick it up. It is the best trivia calendar that you can buy, bar none. Triviacalendar.net. All right, so today's game, it's going to be Carmela and Pete versus Maddie and Mark. I am hosting, and it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
All right, guys. So, big shout out to everybody who responded to my message on the Facebook group. That's a Trivial Warfare Army Facebook group. I said, hey, I'm going to be hosting a game on Friday, and I don't have much time to prepare. Send me some questions, folks. And I got like 90-something questions in 2 or 3 days. So I actually it took me hours to go through and pick the ones I wanted to use for today's game. And I put all of the other ones in a spreadsheet so that I could use later. But big thanks to everyone who submitted questions. If you don't hear your question tonight, that doesn't mean that I don't have it. That doesn't mean that I won't use it. So I really appreciate you. All right. Is everybody ready to get started?
Ready to go.
Everybody looks ready. Here we go. Round 1, question 1. Your category is music. Shout out to Ryan Mahoney for this question.
Thanks, Ryan.
What 2014 film's soundtrack became the first soundtrack album in history, consisting entirely of previously released songs to top the Billboard 200 album chart?
All right, we're locked in.
All right, that means Maddie and Mark, it's over to you.
What do you think here, Mark?
I really am not very good at music, but I do love Marvel movies. And Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix was probably around that time. Could have been a little bit later, but I know the second one came out 3 years ago. Something like that, maybe 4 years ago. I've lost years because of COVID. So that's probably what is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and that sounds. I mean, because I'm thinking because I'm bad with movies. I'm pretty good with wrestling though, and I know that Dave Bautista came back to WWE around the time of WrestleMania 30, which would have been 85 plus 29, which that does make that 2014. But
yes, it would.
My only thing. So do you know any of the songs off of the Awesome Mix off the top of your head?
The Pina Colada song was one of them.
Okay. Is like Spirit in the Sky on that? Or
yes, it is. Spirit in the Sky is on there. Ooga Chaka's on there.
So here's my like your Ooga Chaka, the Hooked on a Feeling. Is that
yes,
what you mean?
Hooked on a Feeling. That's the one. Yes.
So here's my thing. So all of those are big hit singles, but I don't think that any of those are necessarily from big hit albums. Like Norman Greenbaum for Spirit in the Sky, not a big album. The band Blue Sweet for Hooked on a Feeling. I don't know that would have been a big album. And these were specifically from number one albums. And so, like,
I think you want a repeat of the question, Maddie.
Okay. I'd love a repeat of the question.
Yeah. 2014 film's soundtrack became the first soundtrack album in history consisting entirely of previous released songs to top the Billboard 200 album chart. It's the soundtrack from 2014 that topped the album chart. It's not implying that every song on the album was from a number one album.
Oh, okay. I misparsed the question. Okay. Okay, in that case, then I do think that Guardians of the Galaxy is probably the right answer. So let's lock that in.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, yeah, we'll lock in Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right, over to Carmela and Pete.
Oh,
Yeah.
We wish you said Guardians of the Galaxy, because as soon as you mentioned that, we're like, oh, that's the right answer.
I thought maybe it was Rock of Ages, but my one concern with Rock of Ages was a lot of times, like in a movie version, they'll release like a new song so that it's considered for the Oscars for best original song. And I don't remember if the film did that or not. I know that Rock of Ages was made around 2014, but I don't know if it had an original song on the soundtrack that maybe I missed. And so I'm a little bit worried. But anyway, we went with Rock of Ages.
All right, your correct answer. The 2014 album was Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Volume 1. Great job.
All right.
Great job, Mark. You said you weren't good at music, but you nailed that one down.
Thank you, movies.
All right, round 1, question 2. Your category is Televisiones. Big thanks to Joel Skelly for this question. Thank you, Joel. What actor who was nominated for a Primetime Emmy for lead actor in a comedy series each year from 1983 until 1993 appears as a fictionalized version of himself alongside Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm?
We're locked in.
All right, over to Maddie and Mark.
I know I love television, but I never watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. I hear it was great.
Yeah, me neither. You mentioned Bill Cosby when we were chatting. I don't think that Bill Cosby was on TV continuously that long. In fact, I think the Cosby Show started in like 85, if I remember correctly. The only person I can think of, 83 to 93, I think that covers the full run of Cheers. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else who would have been on TV continuously, either in one show or just in back-to-back sitcoms. You know, like there's
maybe Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, okay. And that actually,
that's Cheers and Frasier.
Yeah, that's true, and that's very good. Although he wouldn't have been in the early years. He was kind of a guest star on Cheers, so I don't know that he would have gotten a Best Actor nomination. You know, just because he was a minor character on Cheers, he was, you know, Lilith's husband and whatnot, just sitting at the bar occasionally. If we're picking someone from Cheers and it starts that far back, I almost feel like it has to be Ted Danson.
Okay. Ted Danson seems like probably the best one at the moment.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and lock in with Ted Danson.
All right. Over to Pete and Carmela.
So Pete and I pretty much wrote the exact same thing at the exact same time, that we're not sure, but the time frame fits for Ted Danson, so we said Ted Danson.
Your correct answer is Ted Danson.
Woo.
Nice.
Man, you guys wanted desperately to move away from it, but you had it right pretty much the whole time.
I kind of wish you moved away from it.
Right?
Like, yes, go with
Good
Kelsey
going,
Grammer. Do it.
Right. All right, and your last question of the first round, the category is Literature.
Literature.
Big thanks to David Avalafia for this question. Sharing its name with Janet Jackson's 1993 film debut, what two-word literary term describes the event of a character receiving their just desserts in a fittingly appropriate way?
I think we're locked in, right, Pete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fast. Over to Maddie and Mark.
I think Mark and I are similar. I don't know.
Yes.
Do we want to 1, 2, 3 this or something?
Oh, I can count you down if y'all want to do it.
Go ahead,
It's
Carmela.
all yours, Maddie.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Poetic Justice.
All right, that is the correct answer. Poetic Justice. Also starring the late Tupac Shakur.
Janet Jackson, Tupac.
All right, well, at the end of the first round, the score is 30-20. Maddie and Mark have a 10-point lead.
Woohoo.
Moving on to round 2, question 1. Your category is words. And thanks to Jennifer Kepley. Yeah. Thanks to Jennifer Kepley for this question.
Thanks, Jennifer.
What English word is derived from the name of a mythological figure who is tormented in Tartarus by standing under the food he cannot reach and standing in water he cannot drink? I want you to tell me the English word derived from the name of the mythological figure.
All right. Mark and I are locked in.
We're locked in.
Okay. Boy, I'm not great at mythology here.
Yeah, Pete, I'm pretty sure this is Tantalize. I'm almost. I would say I'm 85% sure this is Tantalize.
Well, it definitely fits the definition. So
I think the guy's name is Tantalus or something like that.
Okay, let's lock it in then.
Yeah, we're gonna say Tantalize.
All right, and Maddie and Mark.
When I was in college, I majored in biology, but I minored in ancient studies alongside with like Greek and Egyptian mythology, and the myth of Tantalus is one of those ones that I distinctly remember. So I think Maddie and I both agreed at the exact same time.
Yeah, so it's Tantalize. Is what we said.
All right. The correct answer is tantalize or tantalizing from Tantalus. That is correct. Good job, both teams. All right, everybody's warmed up. Now everybody's running with it. Here we go. Round 2. Question 2. Your category is Disney. Big thanks to Zach Walter for this question.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Walt Disney identified the song Feed the Birds as his favorite song from all of the films that he produced. Which Disney film, one that won the Academy Award for Best Original Score, was it featured in?
All right. Yeah, we're locked in.
We're locked in.
All right, over to Carmela and Pete.
I think this might have been for Mary Poppins, but now I'm doubting myself.
So my only question here is, Snow White was his first like animated film, and I know she talks a lot to the animals in that movie,
right?
And sings, and they did like a parody in that other one with Amy Adams. What's that movie called? I don't know.
It's like Enchanted or something like that.
Yeah, Enchanted. That's it. So that's the only thing that I'm worried about, is that it might be Snow White.
I don't think it's Snow White. I think a live person is singing this, not an animated one. Now I'm doubting myself for Mary Poppins, but I feel like a live person is singing it.
There can't be a lot of live musicals, Disney musicals in the Walt Disney era, is what I'm thinking. I mean, how many do we have? There's Bedknobs and Broomsticks. That's a Disney film, I think, right?
It is. And that would have live people.
Yeah.
So that's another one. Well, if we're between Mary Poppins and Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Mary Poppins was the first thing I thought of.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it's right, but it's the first thing I thought of.
Okay, let's go with it then.
All right, we'll say Mary Poppins.
All right, Maddie and Mark, what did you say?
Well, you sure you want to change your answer to Bedknobs and Broomsticks? I'd love to say you do that.
No, this is one of those that I remember back in the day. I was a customer service rep for a major American car manufacturer, and one of the team leads had a board where they put up the trivial fact of the day, and the Feed the Birds, Tuppence a Bag being Walt Disney's favorite song was one of them one day. I'd never heard of the song before, but it is, I'm pretty sure, sung by Julie Andrews in Mary Poppins.
It is, in fact, a Julie Andrews banger.
That one was all Carmela.
Good job, Carmela.
Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Mary Poppins is the correct answer. Good job.
Actually, there were a bunch of live-action Disney musicals, like Happy Millionaires back that time. There were a lot back then.
Huh. So, round 2, question 3. Your category is going to be money, 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 money. Money. All right. Thanks to David Raffetto for this question.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, David.
The State Quarters series was a circulating commemorative collection minted from 1999 until 2008. One of those designs depicts George Washington crossing the Delaware River, but it's not the Delaware Quarter. Which quarter is it?
We're locked in.
Oh, a quick lock-in by Pete and Carmela. Maddie and Mark, you can talk.
We both just sent the same thing to one another, although I don't see mine coming through. So I was actually reminded of this fact like a few hours ago, because my wife was telling me about how my son had found a quarter, a 2021 quarter, while doing laundry last night, and there was something about Delaware, and I was reminded of the odd fact of Washington crossing the Delaware being on the back of the New Jersey quarter.
That's right, New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah. We can lock in with New Jersey.
All right, they've locked in with New Jersey. Pete and Carmela, what were you thinking?
I was fortunate here in that recently I watched like the History Channel's like 3-part documentary series on Washington, which is fantastic. And I think, again, I was surprised to learn that the crossing of the Delaware happened in New Jersey and not Delaware. So we also went with New Jersey.
Yeah, he was crossing into New Jersey.
The correct answer is New Jersey. Everybody, both teams swept the round. At the end of the second round, the score is 60-50. Maddie and Mark have maintained their 10-point lead. All right, going into round three. Round three is inspired by MJ. My girlfriend MJ, in our conversations, she'll bring something up that I just didn't know or was interested in. And so I did a whole round of things that I had noted from these conversations. So shout out to MJ for these 3 questions.
Muito obrigado, MJ.
Thank you so much, MJ.
Exactly. Is that the limited Portuguese that you know, Maddie, or is there more behind that?
I used to be fairly fluent in Portuguese, but that was 20 years ago. So
really? You are a man full of surprises.
I'm full of something. That's true.
All right. So, question 1, the category is language. What French word, meaning again, is the name of the 5th studio album by Eminem, released in November of 2004?
We're locked in.
All right. Carmela and Pete are locked in. Maddie and Mark, you can talk it out.
Goodness. Yeah, I have no idea here. This crosses a lot of places where I should know between pop music and languages. But yeah, what do you think, Mark?
My French stopped at French 2 in high school, so that's back in a long time ago.
Well, do you remember the word for again? I didn't take French, so.
I'm thinking it might be autre, maybe.
Okay.
And that's a total guess from trying to think of what I've remember. I was taught French by a Korean brother who English was his 5th language. French was his 2nd. So.
All right. I'm not familiar with an Eminem album called that, but I can't think of any Eminem albums that.
Can you think of any Eminem albums?
I can think of plenty of them there, but they're not going to, it's the Eminem Show, the Marshall Mathers LP, those sorts of things. So I'm fine with that. That's, we can lock that in if you'd like. I don't know any better than that.
That's probably as good as I'm going to get is Otra. So we can lock in with that.
Yeah, let's do it. We're locked in.
Locked in.
All right. Over to Carmela and Pete.
All right, Pete. This is where we're gonna tie up.
Yeah. This one was Carmela. I didn't know the name of the album, but when she said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's it.
The album that had the song "Ass Like That" is called Encore.
Maddie hates himself right now. Oh, Maddie hates himself right now.
Definitely Encore.
The correct answer is Encore. Encore. Again. Yeah, so we were watching the TV show Lupin on Netflix. Lupin is a French TV show, and we were watching with subtitles in English. And MJ knows a little bit of French. She's actually really, really great with languages. And so she would say, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, "Hear what?" So you see where it said again on the thing there? It's like, listen to it, and it's encore. It's like, oh yeah, it is part of everyday language. It's not just encore when you want something to be done at the end of a show. So it's really neat to see language in action like that. But that is correct, encore.
Well done, guys.
Very nice.
All right. Round 3, question 2. Category is food. All right, here we go. You probably have heard of yucca. It's the root of the cassava plant. can you tell me the name of the flowered root of the cassava plant? You've probably heard of it referred to in the name of a type of pudding.
All right, we're locked in.
We're locked in.
All right, Maddie and Mark are pissed off and trying to make good for Encore.
I'm pretty sure it's that, Pete.
Okay. Carmela says tapioca. She beat me to the punch again. She's on fire tonight.
Yeah, so tapioca.
All right, they're locking with tapioca. Mark and Maddie, what are you thinking?
Maddie, you beat me to the punch on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, yuca is, by the way, is a delicious part of Brazilian cuisine. But I actually just bought some of this for someone at the store yesterday. It's good old tapioca.
Correct answer is tapioca. Well done, both teams. Maddie, did you buy the powdered version?
No, this was...
You bought the flour?
No, sorry. I bought tapioca pudding for... I was shopping
of course.
For an older lady and bought both rice pudding and tapioca pudding along with many other soft foods and cat food. It was as stereotypical as it could possibly be.
So MJ brings up the tapioca flour sometimes, and it's a breakfast food. Like you do it like an omelet. Instead of eggs on a pan, you put the powdered tapioca and let it start to kind of create a crust, kind of harden, and then you put your filling inside of it and fold it over, and all of a sudden you have a little tapioca shell around your breakfast. It's really good. It was a month or two after we had the conversation that I finally understood what she was really saying, because she was saying, yeah, no, the tapioca is the flour of the cassava plant. Yucca is the root and tapioca is the flower. And I thought she meant like blooming flower. And then when I was researching the question, it's like flowered, F-L-O-U-R-E-D. Oh, flower. Oh, I had eaten it a bunch and still did not comprehend that it wasn't the damn flower. Yeah, so that's on me.
That's not the language barrier I expected the two of you to have.
Yeah, well, hey. No, our language stuff is pretty funny. It's actually really great. I love learning everything and then forgetting it all too, because I forget everything. But round 3, question 3, your category is sports.
Sports.
All right, Pete, you're up.
Uh-oh.
Here you go, Pete. So MJ and I were watching surfing, Olympic surfing the other day. In the sport of surfing, a surfer whose stance has the right foot in the forward position and the left foot in the backwards position, or the back position, is known by what word that shares a name with a Disney character? And I can do a shout out to the bonus brigade in skateboarding. The name of what Blazing Saddles character is used to describe it when a person uses their front-oriented foot for pushing?
All right, we are locked in.
All right, over to Carmela and Pete.
All right, so
Well, the first part I know.
Yeah, then I knew it too. I just couldn't. It kept correcting it to Goody, and I'm like, stop correcting it to Goody. I'm trying to write Goofy.
This from playing SSX Tricky on the original Xbox. Like
I know from playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, there you go. Kind of the same thing. So that's definitely Goofy foot.
Yeah.
The bonus, I'm not so sure about.
Yeah. So there's Headley. There's Bart. There's the Waco kid, which would be hilarious if it was Waco. For me personally.
Maybe that's why Jonathan picked it. I don't know.
It could be. But I honestly I don't know that one. There's
I don't know
gosh.
either.
What's Madeline Kahn's character's name?
I don't remember.
We could just throw out it and we could say Waco in for the bonus if we want to, because
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's do it. Maybe Waco will be super lucky for us tonight.
Yay! So we're gonna say Goofy and Waco.
Oh, I got jokes about Waco being lucky. This is good. Like, I'm not going to share any of them, but I just love it. I love my own little jokes inside of my head. All right, Maddie and Mark.
Gosh. You agree. That's goofy. And on the bonus, I mean, just the only character that we could think of that really kind of fit, and hopefully this is a shout out to Jonathan's once and perhaps future Geek Bowl team, that perhaps this is called Mongo.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh.
That makes more sense.
Mongo Lox Candy. The correct answers are, it is the goofy stance, and if you push off with your front foot, it is called being mongo-footed in skateboarding.
Oh.
Goofy and mongo are your correct
Waco
answers.
is not lucky tonight.
Oh,
All right. At the end of the third round, the score is 82-80. Maddie and Mark jumped back or maintained a 2-point lead after getting tied earlier. It's a tight game now. All right. So, in the midpoint, your category is card games. Shout out to Nolan Werner for this question. Thank you, Nolan. In the game of Magic the Gathering, your spells are powered by mana. There are 8 different types of mana in the game. Red, green, white, and black are 4 of them. I'll give you 5 points for each of the other 4 that you can name. So I gave you red, green, white, and black. I want you to give me the other 4. Mongo only pawn in game of trivia.
We're locked in.
All right, Carmela and Pete, first position. Maddie and Mark, it's over to you.
All right. Well, I was aware of the presence of mana. I got about that far.
I think I remember hearing something about blue being like water or shoreline stuff. So I think blue is probably one of them.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about basically other kind of rainbow type colors. Yellow, orange, purple. I don't have anything better. The only thing is a question of, is there a one that's like a gold or a silver, one of those other type of
the metallic colors.
The metallic colors, but I have no idea. So if you feel like those rainbow colors are more likely, then cool. Let's go with it.
Let's go with the rainbow. We'll go with the red, the yellow, and the purple. Because
orange, yellow, and purple. Yeah,
orange, yellow, and purple.
Yeah. So yeah, fine. We will cede the lead, and we will blue, yellow, orange, and purple.
All right, Carmela and Pete, you have a chance to take the lead.
Well, this is mostly Carmela.
So I immediately spouted off blue, colorless, and rainbow. And I couldn't remember a fourth. And then Pete's like, well, let's just go through some colors. And he said purple. I'm like, that's it. So we went blue, colorless, rainbow, and purple.
All right. The correct answers, as given to me by Nolan Werner, because I wouldn't know, are blue, colorless, snow, and Phyxian. Phyxian. Apparently, the first 7 are the colors, and the final one is a special symbol. Is what he described there, like a made up name, essentially.
Is it the symbol formerly known as purple?
Can you spell that for me, please?
I did. Phyxian. I'll give you a moment to research if there's a problem, because, as you know, I don't know a darn thing about it.
Yeah, so it's Phyxian. There's an R in there.
Whoops. That might be my typo. It might be his typo. Oh, I deleted them right after moving them over, so I want to actually see it. I deleted them to make sure that I didn't reuse them. I can find the email, though.
No, you're good.
It is a type of mana, right?
It is. It is type of mana. It's fairly new. It was last used in 2019. It's not a mechanic I've ever used. I stopped playing Magic about 7 years ago. Whatever. We got 2. I was like, maybe that's is it purple? That's what I wanted to know. I'm like, is it purple?
Right. I wish. All right. So it's as tight as it can be, guys. At the end of the midpoint, the score is 90-87. Carmela and Pete have taken a lead. All right. That is the end of the first half. Before we go on to the second half, I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp has been a sponsor of Trivial Warfare for months now, and it is one of our favorite companies. The fact is, if you need help, if you need to talk to someone, if you need advice, if you need to work some things out, BetterHelp is the right place for you. If you struggle with depression, if you struggle with stress, grief, self-esteem issues, anger. Maybe you have trouble sleeping. Maybe you have family conflict. There's a list of things that BetterHelp can help with, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. BetterHelp will assess your needs based on the questions that you answer, and they will match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start messaging them on the BetterHelp app within 24 hours. This is the future, y'all. BetterHelp is the way of the future. You don't have to wait in the waiting rooms. You don't have to drive to the counselor's office. You can do it online. You can do it on your phone. You can do it over messaging. This is how you take control of your mental health. It's a fantastic service. I highly recommend it, and I can vouch that they have the highest level of counselors available. They are fantastic. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a Trivial Warfare listener, you'll get 10% off of your first month by visiting our sponsor, BetterHelp.com/TWA. You can join over 1 million people all over the world. Great Britain, Australia, Germany, doesn't matter, all over the world. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TWA. All right, let's get on with the second half of today's game. All right, moving into round 4, question 1. Your category is food and love. Oh, yeah. Big thanks to Samantha Ross for this question.
Thank you, Samantha.
A delicacy on the Italian island of Sicily, casu marzu, is a style of sheep's milk cheese that's beloved by some, even considered an aphrodisiac. But it makes others' skin crawl. What is so unique about this cheese that makes it so special and so reviled?
We're locked in.
Definitely.
All right, Maddie and Mark have locked in.
I think there's maggots in it, Pete.
Yeah, I think I've heard of this before as well. I think that is maggots.
So we're gonna say maggots, Jonathan.
All right, Maddie and Mark, what were you thinking?
Yeah, right on top of this one, Maddie.
Yeah, well, I didn't wake up this morning thinking I plan to be talking about maggot cheese at some point today, but here we are. It's that cheese with the live maggots in it. Sounds delicious.
Yum, yum, yum. The way Samantha wrote the answer was, it's basically a normal pecorino cheese that's been partially digested by maggots. Yes, both teams get the point. Circle gets the square.
Definitely an aphrodisiac to me. That's for sure.
There's nothing sexier than maggots.
All right. Well, since we're talking about maggots, round 4, question 2, your category is animal. Animals. Here we go. Big shout out to C. Robert Dimitri for this question.
Thank you.
All right, pay attention. This gets a little bit complex. Weighing up to over 2,000 pounds, the giant eland is the largest species of this type of animal. Meanwhile, Gunther's dik-dik and Bates' pygmy, which can weigh 10 pounds or fewer, are 2 of the smallest species. What type of animal is this? And dik-dik is spelled D-I-K-D-I-K.
All right, we are locked.
So, Pete, like I said, I know a dik-dik is an antelope.
Okay.
So
now, I've heard of like a pygmy goat before, but I've never heard of a dik-dik. So they didn't teach that in when I was in middle school. So
Yeah.
all right, well, let's go with antelope then, if you're sure on that.
Yeah. And it would make sense that there are kinds of antelopes that would get up to be 2,000 pounds.
Right. And
So
I think a
versus a
2,000-pound goat would be pretty
It would be
scary.
the goat of goats. But I'm pretty sure antelope is what we want to go with here.
Okay, let's lock that in then.
All right.
All right, Mark and Maddie, what were you thinking?
You know, I didn't wake up this morning expect to be talking about dik-diks on a podcast, but here we are.
You should have said maggots again. A 2,000-pound maggot.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Ah.
Yeah, so we that was, I think we ended up in the same place Carmela was there, that we're pretty sure that we've heard of a dik-dik being some sort of antelope, and so we also locked in with antelope.
Yes.
These animals would all find themselves at home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play. Antelope is a correct answer. Good job. All right, round 4, question 3. Your category is what's in a name? And this is one more question that is a shout out to MJ. This just came up the other day. The real name of what young diva who performed on the song Boy Trouble on Prince's album Plectrum Electrum is Melissa Vivian Jefferson. And Vivian is Viviane. So it might be Vivian. I'm not sure how you would pronounce.
All right, let's go with that, Pete.
Okay.
We're locked in.
Carmela and Pete have locked in. Over to Mark and Maddie.
All right, so he said this young diva, which if we were talking about like young, at the time or something like that, then you mentioned Sheila E., which her name is Sheila E. She's Sheila Escobedo, but like a Apollonia or something like that. But Plectrum Electrum, I don't know that album. My thought is it's probably was maybe one of Prince's last albums, and this is someone who is literally young now. As far as the young diva title goes, I know that Lizzo's real name is Melissa, but I don't think she would be necessarily considered a diva. That could be right, but I'm not sure.
After Taylor Swift, I don't know anybody, and I don't believe Taylor Swift was a protege of Prince. So,
yeah, I know there's a connection between Kesha and Prince, but I think that's limited to the fact that she broke into Prince's house. But it could be like I think Megan Thee Stallion's name is not actually Megan, but I don't remember what it actually is.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. But the only pop music star that I can think of that I know her name is Melissa is Lizzo. And so if we're going to just blindly throw out guesses, then
that's not as blind as any of the ones I have.
That'll either be good as hell, or we'll find out that the truth hurts. But we're going to go with Lizzo, and we have no juice behind that.
Carmela and Pete.
Well, we started off kind of on the same track that Maddie and Mark started off on. First I said Sheila E. And then Carmela said Apolloniana. And but then I remembered a thing from the late 80s. There's an actress/singer that was involved with Prince, and I remember seeing on the Joan Rivers show like 35 years ago, where they did a bit where Prince gave her name. She starred in Action Jackson with Carl Weathers, Craig T. Nelson, and her name was Vanity. And then I thought, okay, well, her real name starts with a B, and her stage name is Vanity. So we ended up going with Vanity.
2 strong answers there. The correct answer, Melissa Vivian Jefferson, is better known as Lizzo.
No.
Lizzo is the correct answer. Yeah, Plectrum Electrum was right before he passed away. She recorded at Paisley Park with the girl group that he was recording with.
We went too far back.
That's probably she met that new man on the Minnesota Vikings.
And you were overthinking a bit, Maddie, because in today's terminology, diva has a shared definition as just a famous female singer of pop music. So it can be used as such.
By the way, Megan Thee Stallion, owner of Adamantium Knees, her real name is Megan Pete. So her real name is Megan.
All right. So at the end of the 4th round, Maddie and Mark have regained the lead. It's 117 to 110. Yay. Still a fantastic game right now. And we're going into round 5. First question category is Show Me the Money! Show me the money! Big shout out to Clint Gibbons for this question.
Thanks, Clint.
What old-fashioned slang for $1 may have originated as a 19th century portmanteau, combining British slang for a 6-pence coin with the name of a 20-franc gold coin? It may be more familiar to some as the currency in a popular video game franchise.
We're going to lock in.
All right, Carmela and Pete have locked in. Over to Mark and Maddie.
My first thought was Sawbuck, and I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
Yeah, no, a sawbuck is, I believe that's a 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean the only old timey. Unfortunately, I don't play any recent video games, so I'm not sure on that one. And the only video game currency I'm familiar with, because my family plays a lot of Animal Crossing, are bells, or Nook Miles, I guess. But so I mean the only old timey dollar slang I can think of is simoleon. I don't know if that would be some video game currency.
It could be. And simoleon could be like galleons or sovereigns or something along those lines.
Yeah, sovereign. That's got a definition. It's not going to be that because that's not a portmanteau. And galleon, I think, is just an old Spanish coin of some sort, like on its own. I don't think. I mean, it could be. And simoleon is the type of thing that sounds like kind of made up to where I could see it being, two different things put together. I've got negative meows on this, but I mean, I don't have anything better.
Neither do I. So let's go with simoleon.
All right, we'll lock it.
All right, Carmela and Pete.
No.
So I started listing off game currencies. Gil, caps, simoleons from The Sims, and I was like, well, Leon is French, so we went with simoleons.
All right, so you both went simoleons. The currency in SimCity and The Sims is the simoleon. Apparently, it's most likely a late 19th century portmanteau of Simone, which is $1 or a 6-pence coin, and a Napoleon, which is a French coin worth 20 francs. So Simon and Napoleon add up to simoleon.
Simoleon. Nice going.
All right, both teams get the credit, even though one of them didn't think they were. And that moves us to question 2 of round 5, which is in the category of geography.
Geography?
Oh, that's the one. I'm so sorry. A big shout out to Rob Warman for this question.
Yay, Rob.
You mean prolific trivia writer Rob Warman?
That's the guy.
I think I've heard of that guy.
That's the guy. The equator is approximately 24,901 miles long in circumference and touches the land of 11 countries. Which of these countries contains the only location where equatorial snow can be found?
Can or cannot?
Can be found. There is snow. There be snow here. Arg.
All right, we're going to lock in.
Over to Maddie and Mark.
Okay, so Maddie, my first thought was possibly Ecuador, because I got Quito as like the highest capital in the world or something like that, and it might have snow in it.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same place. My only other thought was the potential for Peru, and I'm just trying to remember whether I'm trying to get an idea of the countries in South America where exactly that the equator line hits. Obviously, it goes through Brazil and Ecuador, but yeah, my only other thought is whether it could potentially be Peru. I think it's definitely Ecuador or Peru. The fact that we both came up with Ecuador leads me, to trust that, but. If it's Peru, that wouldn't shock me. If it's anything else, it'll kind of shock me. So, I mean, I guess we can lock in Ecuador and hope for the best here.
Okay, we can lock in with Ecuador. That's good.
All right, Carmela and Pete.
All right. Well, generally, I don't get a lot of reassurance from other people answering, but Carmela and I took the long way to get there on this answer. First, I thought maybe Chile because of the Andes Mountains. But then I thought, Chile, I don't think Chile comes that far north. And then I remembered my wife has some family members that did some missions work in Quito, Ecuador. And I remember that Quito, Ecuador is the highest, whatever you call it, altitude of any of the world capitals. And the equator runs through there. So I thought that it was possible that it would run through Ecuador. So we, too, also said Ecuador.
It doesn't matter how hard the questions are. Y'all keep getting them right. The correct answer is Ecuador.
Whew.
Nice.
I mean, it's impressive, y'all. Y'all are doing fantastic.
That was all Pete.
We got lucky
to do with that.
Yeah, so it's up in the Andes in Ecuador. It's freaking high up there. It snows a lot. Round 5, question 3. The category is science.
Science.
Arms. All right. Shout out to Sarah Calori for this question.
Thanks, Sarah.
You should be tickled to know that there's a Wikipedia page called The Exploration of Uranus. What is the only spacecraft to probe the planet, which occurred in 1986? The specific name of the spacecraft. That means the name of the spacecraft and I guess its regnal number, for lack of a better word.
We're locked in.
All right, over to Maddie and Mark.
So my science is biology. So we don't deal with stars that much, unfortunately. So
All right.
the
Well,
probes.
yeah. So you mentioned Mariner, which I thought that was specifically a Mars thing, but I don't know. The only probe that, the only ones that I know about are the Voyager crafts, and I know that the Voyager crafts went at least like as far as Saturn, and I want to say like one of them actually kept going outside of our solar system.
Yeah, I remember reading something about it. One of them was the first thing to actually leave the solar system was one of the Voyagers. There were two.
Yeah. So that was. I mean, I was thinking if regnal numbers involved, then it just kind of playing the question. It seems like two is more likely than one. This is not an area I know a whole lot about. So,
No.
So I mean, yeah, but Voyager 2, I would be perfectly happy to go with as it seems as cromulent as anything else.
That sounds good. We can lock that one in.
All right, Pete and Carmela.
So my first instinct is like, oh, it's going to be one of the Voyagers because they launched one in one direction and the other in the other direction. I believe they've both left the solar system by this point. And the fact that Jonathan added in like, oh, by the way, I want the number points me to Voyager 2. So we said Voyager 2.
Y'all are pretty smart. Correct answer is Voyager 2.
Nice. Very nice.
That's the end of the fifth round, y'all. At the end of the fifth round, the score's 147 to 140. Maddie and Mark have a 7-point lead. Going into round 6. First category is music. Shout out to Bobby Gottfried for this question. I hear Mark groaning. Oh,
yeah, music.
Music. Here we go. What is the shared title of a 2021 number one song by Justin Bieber and a 1996 number 29 song written by Chris Ballou and performed by the band he fronted?
We're locked in.
All right, Carmela and Pete have locked in. Maddie and Mark, it's over to you.
I gave Maddie my large bag of nothing.
This really should be right up my alley to be able to come up with, a 90s lead singer and be able to connect him to the band and therefore the song. But so far, I haven't been able to nail that down. So I'm just trying to think about, and unfortunately, I actually know some recent Justin Bieber hits like Sorry and Love Yourself, but I don't know any from 2021. I have to go completely based off of the singer here.
What was the year for the Chris Ballou song?
The Chris Ballou song was 1996.
96. So 96, I just moved to Vegas. Boy, just trying to see if anything can just kind of tickle my brain. I know I've heard of Chris Ballou, but it's not one I know real well. So, well, I'm not going to be able to come up with this, and I wish I could think of something. Let's go with Breakfast at Tiffany's. Boom.
I like it.
All right. Carmela and Pete.
So Chris Ballou is the front man for President of the United States of America.
Oh, of course he is.
And he's going to the country, and he's going to eat him a lot of peaches. And Peaches is a Justin Bieber song. So that is the answer. Peaches.
Apparently, Justin Bieber gets his peaches down in Georgia. Correct answer is Peaches.
That just came up somewhere on some sort of trivia something, and it didn't register in my brain.
This has been a bit of a joke because I'm warming up to Justin Bieber for some of the songs, but Peaches in particular annoys me. It's just repetitive, and it's just kind of, ugh, God, give me a break. So of course MJ's always playing it. So the other day she started playing it, and I brought up Presidents of the United States of America, turned it on Peaches, put it up real loud, and just slammed it down on the counter. This is Peaches. Oh, good times.
Moving to the country, eating peaches.
All right, round 6. Question 2, your category is story time. Thanks to David Avalafia for the second submission of the game from him.
Thank you, Ian.
The conglomerate Procter & Gamble is primarily responsible for what two-word entertainment term coined in 1939 and still in use today?
We're locked in.
Oh.
All right, over to Carmela and Pete.
Oh, this is soap opera, right?
Oh, wow.
Doesn't Procter & Gamble make like Dawn?
Yes. Okay. I was trying to think about it, but that makes complete sense.
I didn't hear the year the first time. I was like,
must be
yes.
that they sponsored the soap operas back
Yeah,
then?
that's why they were called soap operas. They were sponsored by soap. Yeah, now that I heard the year, I'm pretty sure this is soap opera.
Okay.
And story time would make sense because people call soap operas their stories.
Gotta watch my stories.
Yeah. Not that, Jonathan has been doing a lot of that, pay attention to the category kind of stuff, but.
All right, let's go with that.
All right, soap opera.
All right, Maddie and Mark.
Well, I was going to say that many years ago when I was in business school, I did a summer internship doing market research for a little company in Cincinnati, Ohio called Procter & Gamble. And one of the many things that they were very proud about was the fact that they had invented the genre known as the soap opera. That's what we got.
Correct answer, because they were advertising soap with their operas, is soap opera. That is correct. And by the way, this was the only time that I took the time to use the category for a clue. I added that clue just to give a tiny nudge in that direction for anybody who could pick it up. That was well caught.
Nice.
My mom always watched her stories from me.
Gotta watch my stories. Round 6, question 3. Your category is sports. And it's a shout out to Govind Chettiar for this question.
Thank you.
By the way, out of all of the categories of questions submitted, sports dominated. At least 1/5 of the questions I got this week were sports questions. It was crazy.
It's because the Olympics are on.
I guess. Okay, here we go. NFL.
I'm so happy about it.
Well, I mean, I love sports questions, but if there's something I can write myself, it's a sports question. But this is actually a really good sports question. A lot of them actually, they were really good, but I didn't get many science questions is what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
I loved the food question. NFL number 1 picks rarely come from outside of the Power 5 conference schools. For those of you paying attention at home, the Power 5 conferences are the ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and the Pac-12. What player was the most recent that was drafted number 1 that came from a school that was not a member of one of these conferences? And I'll give you a hint and a chance for a bonus. The hint: this player is still playing for the team that drafted him. And your bonus opportunity, shout out to the bonus brigade. I'll give you 2 bonus points if you can tell me what college he did come from.
Well, Pete, if there was ever a question that I was never going to know the answer to, it's going to be this one.
Right? This worries me, but I think he was a number 1 pick. Okay, let's lock it in.
All right, we're locked in.
All right, over to Mark and Maddie.
Remember that large bag of nothing I had on the music category? There's an even larger one for this one next to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who the recent number 1 overall picks were, as well as just kind of looking at each team and thinking about who they've been able to pick up. So to be a number 1 overall pick, you had to be from a team that has really, really struggled, such as perhaps the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey!
Well, it's true. I'm not,
It's damn true.
So Carson Wentz. I'm trying to remember between Carson Wentz and the other guy, which one was the one that went to North Dakota State and which one's the one that went to Cal. They were like 1 and 2 one year. So I think our best possible guess is Carson Wentz. That's the only player I can think of who was drafted very highly recently. Who definitely didn't go to a Power 5 school. So are you okay with me locking that in?
I'm just fine with that.
Okay, so then we're going to go with Carson Wentz. I hope that I'm not getting him mixed up with Jared Goff, but Carson Wentz, North Dakota State.
All right. Carmela and Pete, it's over to you.
So I'm a little bit nervous about this one, but the only in I had here was that I think this is a local guy for us, for Western Central Michigan. There was a guy named Eric Fisher. I don't know, it's been in the last 10 years. He was an offensive lineman, and I want to say that I've seen like news reports back in the day that he went number 1 overall in the NFL draft. And I don't know if I'm remembering this right. I might be way off, and everybody listening to this show is going to be like, who is Eric Fisher? But he's a local guy, as I remember. He played for the Central Michigan Chippewas, Fire Up Chips. And I think he went number 1 overall in the NFL draft as like either an offensive tackle or a guard. So I am reluctantly going to lock in with Eric Fisher.
And Central Michigan.
And Central Michigan.
Your correct answer is Eric Fisher from Central Michigan.
Oh, jeez. Nice going, Pete.
He was drafted by and still plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, wow.
But I remember seeing the local newscasts making a big deal out of here in my hometown.
He's been to a couple Super Bowls at this point, so
He sure has.
That's well done.
Nicely done.
All right, guys. It's been a back and forth affair the whole game. I mean, it's just been as tight a game as we've seen. The score at the end of the 6th round and going into the gauntlet, Carmela and Pete have won 72. Maddie and Mark have won 57.
Oh, jeez.
It's so tight. Your category in the gauntlet is Protector Initiative. And shout out to Brian Walston for this gauntlet.
thanks, Brian. All right, our wager's locked in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're locked with our wager.
All right. Your first question in today's gauntlet. Which arachnid is the most common member of the genus Latrodectus in North America, has venom that is reported to be 15 times stronger than a rattlesnake's venom, and is responsible for more than 25,000 visits to poison control centers every year?
Will you please spell Latrodectus?
Certainly. It's actually spelled how it sounds. It's LATRODECTUS.
We're locked in on that one.
All right, Maddie and Mark are locked in. Over to Carmela and Pete.
All right, I think we're also locked in.
All right, Carmela and Pete are locked in. Gauntlet question 2. Typically occurring in older people, macular degeneration is a medical condition that affects what?
All right, we're locked in.
Oakley dokley.
We're locked in.
All right, and question 3 in your gauntlet. Which god's name is in the title of the second book of Rick Riordan's Magnus Chase trilogy?
We're locked in.
We are locked in.
We're locked in.
All right. Everybody's locked in on the gauntlet. We're going to go back through and collect their answers. First question. What arachnid is the most common member of the genus Latrodectus in North America? It has venom that is reported to be 15 times more powerful than a rattlesnake's venom and is responsible for more than 25,000 visits to poison control centers every year. Carmela and Pete, what did you answer?
So when you were kind of struggling through the thing, my first instinct, like, this is going to be Black Widow, because you said Protector Initiative, so it made me think about the Avengers. And then when you got through it, we're like, well, the brown recluse is the most poisonous or venomous. Venomous is the right word here. Spider in North America. And I was like, well, maybe it's supposed to be like Avengers, but slightly off. So instead of Black Widow, it'd be Brown Recluse. And we said Brown Recluse, and I regret it now.
All right, Mark and Maddie.
I'll get this one, Maddie, because being the biologist, yay, go science. Science, yes. Latrodectus were definitely the widow spiders. I took ecology before I went into molecular biology. I took ecology and stuff like that. So they're definitely black widow spiders.
All right. Question 2. I asked you to tell me what macular degeneration affects. Maddie and Mark, why don't y'all answer this one for me?
So I came up with the kind of general answer, and Mark was able to form it better to fit an actual character that would work out here. So eyes is what macular degeneration affects, but specifically vision.
All right. Your answer was vision. Pete and Carmela.
We went much broader and just said eyes.
All right. And I wanted you to tell me the name of the god that was in the title of the second book in the Rick Riordan Magnus Chase trilogy. Carmela and Pete, what did you say?
Well, by then we'd found out the theme. I wish we would have known the theme better on the first question, but my kids have these books, and I knew that the Magnus Chase series was the Norse gods, and so I thought we came to Thor because it was an Avengers character, so we settled on Thor.
All right. And Maddie and Mark.
Yeah, we definitely liked them with Thor also, knowing the Magnus Chase ones, the Norse grouping of the books, so we settled on Thor.
All right. We're going to go one more time around, and I'm going to reveal your correct answers. What was the name of the arachnid I was looking for? It was the Black Widow, of course. Typically occurring in older people, macular degeneration affects your vision. And the god's name in the Magnus Chase trilogy, book number 2, is Thor.
Nice.
Maddie and Mark got all 3 right. They were 15 points behind. We're going to see, I'm not sure which is the best way to go here. No, you know what? I need to hear Carmela and Pete's wager first.
We decided to try for a lockout, so we
143.
143.
143. All right. And it's going to be pretty hard for Maddie and Mark to lose to that after getting the gauntlet right. But I'm going to go ahead and do the math anyway.
130 generally.
172. 172 minus, you said 143, right?
Yes.
You finished with 29 points. So Maddie and Mark will need to have wagered negative 130 something.
We considered that, actually.
So Maddie and Mark, what was your wager?
So we went kind of tried to go a little bit next level on the math here. Shout out to Keith Williams. We thought that in case they decided to go small and just cover our 15, that we would double cover them, and we went with 31.
With a final score of 188 to 29, your winners of today's game are Mark Burton and Maddie Kimberlin.
Good job.
Hey.
Good job.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. Good game. What a game, everybody. That was so good. When you go into a gauntlet at 172 to 157, that's saying something.
Thank you for the science on the
I'm always sad that the final score doesn't look like it was that close. It was way closer than that.
Way closer. I agree. All right. Well, before we go, we like to do shout outs and promote causes that we care about. Mark Burton, why don't we start with you?
I'd like to shout out to my wife. She's been married to me for 21 wonderful years, and she's the greatest thing around in my life, actually. But I'd love to shout out to my martial arts friends, because those guys have been with me even longer than she has. And I definitely think martial arts is something everyone should at least try if they can. It's given me health. It's given me confidence and an awareness that you can only get from that kind of stuff. So thank you.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Maddie, you're up.
Thank you. Asia. No, we're just not naming continents. Okay. Anyway.
Bands?
You said Europe. Anyway. Bands. I think that's both. Well done, my friend. Okay. Deep Blue something. All right. So first, of course, to my wife and my kids who make it possible for me to be able to kind of monopolize our abode to be able to do stuff like this. I very much appreciate that. One thing, a friend was talking to his wife about my appearance on Pyramid, which as of recording was just this week. And she was asking him how I got on all those game shows. And, the one thing that I had to say was that I audition. And so to those out there in the TWA, if you have thought about going on a game show, you thought about doing something like that, and you've never kind of taken that step out, go put your name out there, audition. I mean, it's one of those things. I just came away with $50,000 and a trip to the Caribbean, and that is going to do some incredible things in my life, and it could happen to you too. And so, don't be afraid to take a step out there and take a chance, and maybe it'll be you next.
Very cool. And Pete, we'll finish with you.
All right. Well, it might be a bit corny, but everybody here by now should know that I'm a huge Cubs fan. So I want to give a shout out today to the 2016 world champions that died an egregious death on this day when every single one of them were traded away.
Oh my God.
You guys broke the 108-year curse. I love you guys no matter where you're playing. So shout out. Thank you very much for all the happiness you've brought my entire family.
That was a unique shout out in the history of Trivial Warfare. Unprecedented. Very cool. All right, y'all. Great job. Great game, everybody. So that's going to wrap us up, everybody. For Maddie, for Mark, for Pete and Carmela, my name's Jonathan. This has been episode number 334 of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit ProPodcastingServices.com.